We'll be with you for the next half hour as we break down the action. Hayden Birdsong made his second start of the season as he moved into the rotation a couple weeks ago. He was efficient. The Giants pitching there, the offense not there to back him up.
Once again, the Giants offense really struggles on the road, although they did face a right-handed starter today. Thought he was ripe for the pickings, and Montero had a high ERA, had been giving up a lot of hits, especially early in the count, early in games. He stymied the Giants offense today. The left-handed hitters have been crushing Montero today. The left-handed hitters against Montero were 1 for 7. Not a lot of opportunities for the Giants offense. They were 1 for 4 runners in scoring position, only left 6 guys on base today. The Tigers were just one hit better than the Giants today. They got the big hit by Riley Green. Eric Miller came in the game, walked the first batter that he faced. They had the matchups they wanted. You can't walk the guy when you the leadoff bat and you come into the game out of the bullpen. That loaded the bases, and then Riley Green's hit was the difference in the game, which scored 2. So you knew it was going to be a tight game, Laura. You knew by the way that Birdsong is throwing the baseball, also the way the Giants have been struggling to score runs, it was going to be a tight game. It was who was going to be to deliver the first blow and get to that bullpen.
Yeah.
Who both teams' bullpen has been outstanding this year. And unfortunately today it was the Tigers that got that big hit.
Yeah, they come out on top as we get a look at what's hot. This brought to you by Service Champions Heating and Air Conditioning. And you mentioned it, Kader Montero, not the greatest pitcher in Major League Baseball, certainly not the greatest pitcher on the Tigers roster. So this was a big opportunity for the Giants. As you mentioned, they've done really well against right-handed starters this season. They are 26-11 now when facing a right-handed starter. So when you pile those things together, you'd think that they'd be able to do something. Giants also really good on first pitches, and Montero not really good in those scenarios. So you start to look into the numbers and you say, this could be the game for the Giants. It was not the case.
Came into the game today with a 5.28 ERA. They've been using openers for him a couple times this year because he's struggled early in games in the first inning to try to give him a softer landing. And today they let him start a game. He obviously has good enough stuff to be a starter. He had a 4-pitch mix that was working extremely well today. He got outs with the fastball. He got outs with the slider. He got outs with this curveball. All 3 of those pitches he got 5 outs with. A couple strikeouts and only gave up 1 hit. It was a single to I정후의 Lee in the first inning. Retired 14 out of 15 batters at one point, Laura. Just kind of sometimes make you shake your head a little bit because, like you said, this is a guy they should get to.
Yeah, it's a 162-game season. We've been saying that a lot over this past 2 weeks when the Giants' offense has been struggling. At some point, they're going to have to snap out of it or they're going to start to drop down. The Giants did have a good opportunity in the 6th inning to score some runs. That is the only inning in which they did put up a run as they fall to the Tigers 3-1 the final. So Mike Yastrzemski grounded out to lead off the inning. But then you had 3 straight singles. You had a Chapman single, a I정후의 Lee single, and then he had a pitching change, and then Wilmer Flores, the Giants' RBI king, brings in the only run that the Giants score. The frustrating part here is Willy Adames comes up to the plate, obviously got the big contract this offseason, and he's just been frustrating at the plate to watch him, and I know he's frustrated right now. You see him talking to his bat in the dugout. He's ready to get things going, but he grounds into a double play. That just absolutely stifles the momentum.
Yeah, they did have the momentum. They got into the Tiger bullpen, which isn't an easy task in itself. They're pretty good, right? But then they got to Holton. As you mentioned, Yastrzemski leads off the inning with a ground ball out, and then you string together some hits. So you're starting to feel the momentum. Adames has been pretty good with runners in scoring position this year. He's been pretty good against right-handed pitching this year. So you felt maybe this was the matchup you wanted. He got a little aggressive. Ends up pulling off a slider away, gets the ground ball, hits into a double play, and the next inning he caught a pop-up. To one of the outs of the inning. You can tell he was still talking to himself at shortstop. Very frustrated right now because he knew that was the inning where they could do some damage and they weren't able to do it. And there's nothing better for a pitcher than a double play, right? Talk about stopping momentum. And it went right back into that Tigers dugout. They had an opportunity in the first inning as well. They got a walk by Chapman, Montero, and then Lee got the base hit, and they let him off the hook. I thought that was the inning you got to get to Montero because he really settled in after that. And in the 6th inning, they got to the bullpen a little bit, but a little bit too little, too late. And that 6th inning this year has been the big inning for the Giants.
It sure has.
I mean, they've scored a lot of their runs in the 6th inning. So you felt like when they started to get some runners on base that they may be able to put up a crooked number. But like we just showed, road. Unfortunately, that didn't happen with the double play.
Yeah, Montero with 3 strikeouts today. He walked 2 batters. He ends up going 5 innings as Montero picks up the win today. He's now 2-1 on the season. Let's get a look at some of the issues the Giants offense had against Montero. There were some strikes. I guess this is against all of the Tigers pitchers today. They were throwing it down the middle of the plate. I don't know if they weren't seeing it, getting unlucky in moments, flying them out to the outfield. It was a mix of different situations.
Yeah, and just check out all these pitches we're going to see right here. I mean, they're literally center cut. Now, they may have some spin to them. They may be breaking balls, maybe fastballs, but they're in the middle part of the plate. And I think as a hitter, you ask a hitter, what do you want to try to hit? They want to hit balls over the heart of the plate. They're not chasing these pitches. They're just not hitting them hard. Just missing a lot of these pitches, either getting under them, getting on top of them. But really, scouting reports are out there, right? You can see like this pitch right here by Patrick Bailey, who's really scuffling right now. And a lot of these counts, too, are count leverage. They're counts where these hitters are ahead in the count, where you'd feel like they should be doing some damage with pitches out over the heart of the plate. And scouting reports don't lie. When teams go in to face a series or to face a team in a series, they're going to look at how they faced other teams in the past leading into that series. Right now, they've seen the Giants are not hitting the ball right now as a whole, right? So the scouting report is, as a pitcher, is you go out there and you attack the strike zone. You have them get themselves out, right? Montero definitely, at times today, wasn't getting them out. They were getting themselves out by him just being aggressive in the zone and trusting his stuff. And the Giants weren't able to do a lot with those pitches over the heart of the plate.
Yeah, is that concerning to you with the Giants offense? And you got pitches over the middle of the plate, not really able to do anything? How concerned are you? What level are you at right now?
Well, you're asking a starting pitcher his whole career, that was a starting pitcher, I should say, and it's very concerning, right? Because you go out to the mound and you know your offense is struggling, right, as a whole, and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. That's just kind of, you always live in the moment in the big leagues. You have to look at the big picture. These guys are big league hitters. They have a track record. A lot of them do. You feel like eventually that they're going to snap out of it, and it's become contagious. All right, you start to make excuses for yourself. Oh, we're facing tough pitching. We're on the road. But eventually, reality is what it is, right? And you got to look at yourself in the mirror and like, what can I do to try to help us get out of this individually, right?
Yeah.
And as a pitcher, it's tough because you're going out there, you're trying not to give runs up early in games because sometimes a run or two may be the difference. And so you're going out there trying not to give up runs rather than being aggressive. You saw that a little bit with Birdsong today. He wasn't throwing a ton of strikes, only 9 out of 20 first pitch strikes. You could tell that he was like, I can't miss. I can't make mistakes because a run may be too many. And that's not a good mindset to get into as a pitcher.
Yeah, again, Hayden Birdsong taking the loss today. This was his second start since moving into the rotation as we focus in on what he was able to do today. He goes 4 1/3 innings today, walks 2, strikes out 6, 88 total pitches, 53 of those for strikes. So he had 3 earned runs, 2 of those coming in when Eric Miller came in relief. What did you like from Birdsong today?
I like the fastball. The fastball once again was his best pitch. The Tigers hitters were 0 for 6 against the fastball. He got a couple strikeouts with that pitch. In his last start against the Royals were 0 for 8 versus the fastball. They didn't get a hit, so he hasn't given up a hit on his fastball in his last 14 outs that he's recorded. It's been the off speed. It's either 9 hitters are 9 for their last 21 on his off speed. That's where they're doing their damage. That was against the Royals and today. But I did like the fastball, like the 4-seamer up in the strike zone. He was a little off today with his command with the fastball. He was better against the Royals, but once again, it gets in your head. Like you are trying not to make mistakes, right? You don't want to leave the ball out of the heart of the plate against a good hitting lineup like the Tigers, so you have to nibble a little bit more. And today he just wasn't quite on. He only threw 35 or 53 strikes and 88 pitches. That's not a great ratio. But he did a nice job. He curveball, he got a couple strikeouts with. The changeup, he got a couple strikeouts with. But that's where they're also getting their hits, is with the off-speed pitches. So I don't think it was a terrible outing by any stretch. But I think the one thing he'd like to take back was probably the walk to Torres that got him out of the game. He's done a really good job of limiting walks. He had 2 today, 1 came around to score.
Yep. All right. The Giants now 31-23 on the season. Meanwhile, the Tigers sit atop the AL Central with a 35-20 record. Coming up next on Toyota Giants Postgame Live, we'll get you back out to Comerica Park to hear from Bob Melvin.
We're just not swinging bat well. And now we would sprinkle a few guys in that would be hot to score some runs. You know, other than Flo and Jung-hoo right now, we're not swinging the bat too terribly well. We got 4 of our 5 hits today. So we had an opportunity in the first, and every opportunity we had today, we either hit into a double play or didn't get it done. So, you know, we keep putting a lot of pressure on the key at bats. We're not coming through with them. You know, they obviously did today with the green at bat, and that was the difference in the game.
You had mentioned before that sometimes Adames in those situations sort of chases a little bit, trying to put pressure, but just getting the double play. But what are you seeing from his at-bats in those situations?
You know, obviously he hasn't gotten off to the start that he wants to, and I think you tend to try to do a little too much sometimes when you get in big RBI situations. I mean, he's kind of known for that. Hit a ton of 3-run homers last year, so it's going to come. I think, you know, maybe just trying to do a little bit too much and swinging a little bit early in those situations right now.
Maybe was it Matos' best day defensively? How challenging can it be for a young player when he isn't getting those everyday reps in that?
You mean in the first inning?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that's kind of a tough ball too. I mean, kind of spin it away from him. Sun's right there. Makes a nice play on the next one. So, look, when you don't play every day, especially for a young player, it's going to be difficult on both ends of it. So, I thought his at-bats were pretty good. Hit a couple balls hard, and that didn't hurt us in the first.
What do you think about how Hayden did?
Good. He just ran out of gas there at the end. You know, we're trying to get him up. Ended up going 4 1/3, but getting him up to about 90 pitches. So they just made him work some enough to where he just ran out of gas, you know, in the middle of that inning, and I had to go get him.
Well, you've been hearing a lot about this at-bat being the difference maker in the game. It's our play of the game that's brought to you by Toyota. Bottom of the 5th, Riley Green at the plate with the bases loaded, 1 out, facing Eric Miller. And he lines one to right. That brings in 2 runs and gave the Tigers a 3-0 lead at the time. The Giants would go on to score 1 run in the 6th to make this a 3-1 game. Let's get a wrap of this morning's game. For that, we send you back out to the ballpark with Dave Fleming and Hunter Pence. Dave?
All right, Laura, thanks. So, well, we got a first-hand look, Hunter. Everybody's asking the question these days around baseball, what makes the Tigers so good? Why do they have the best record in the American League? And we sort of saw why today in the first game of this series.
Yeah, you know, they just got a deep lineup, a lot of consistency, good at-bats, and they really just timely hitting right there. The Riley Green at-bat was pretty impressive. The Dingler at-bat as well, their catcher. But every single one from top to bottom, it's just really tough at-bats. Everyone's got a kind of a good average, play good defense. They pitch the ball well. 2 really devastating late inning relievers in Conley and what we just saw with West.
Yeah, and that's what A.J. Hinch does, the manager of this Tigers team. He uses that bullpen, and you see mid-inning pitching changes more than most teams, and it depends on the day and what part of the lineup you're in. It's hard to come from behind against this Tigers team.
Yeah, they got a good defense, good athletes. It's a young team. It's an exciting team. A.J. Hinch has done an incredible job. This is game 1. Giants bats a little bit in a cold snap right now, but Wilmer once again gives them an opportunity, some good at-bats late.
Got to get those bats heated up. Have to against this good of a team. We'll see if they can do that tomorrow. Until then, we'll send it back to you, Laura.
Dave, Hunter, thank you. If you're feeling a little down about the Giants offense right now, maybe this will lift your spirits as we check out our daily jackpot that's brought to you by River Rock Casino. If the season were to end today, the Giants would hold one of the 3 NL wildcard spots. And you might be thinking, well, Laura, it's 54 games into the season. Why does that matter? Over the last 3 seasons, 75% of the teams that held a playoff spot heading into Memorial Day reached the postseason.
정말 이정후는 야구를 위해 태어난 사나이다. 워싱턴 DC에서 열린 경기는 그 사실을 다시 한번 증명해주는 무대였다. 샌프란시스코자이언츠의 간판타자 이정후는 이날도 자신의 존재감을 강하게 각인시켰다. 3타수 2안타 2득점. 겉으로 보면 화려한 기록은 아니지만 그 이면에는 감탄을 자아내는 집중력과 탁월한 배트 컨트롤이 담겨 있었다. 4회 초 첫 번째 타석에서 이정후는 투수의 초구를 정확히 읽어내며 날카로운 라인 드라이브 안타를 만들어냈다. 중견수 앞을 가르는 그 강한 타구는 단순한 안타가 아니었다. 분위기를 바꾸고 투수를 흔들며 팀의 방역 신호탄이 된 결정적인 한 방이었다. 이정후가 타석에 들어서는 순간 관중석의 시선은 하나로 모인다. 그는 그만큼 믿고 보는 타자다. 7회 초에는 또 한 번의 예술이 펼쳐졌다. 볼넷을 얻어낸 뒤 과감한 주루로 두루도루를 시도했지만 뜻밖의 타자방의 판정으로 아웃 선언. 억울한 상황에서도 그는 단 한 번의 감정적 동요도 없었다. 오히려 담담한 표정으로 팀을 응원하며 다시 타석을 준비했다. 그런 태도가 진정한 클래스다. 이런 장면 하나하나가 이정후라는 선수를 더욱 특별하게 만든다. 그리고 9회 초 극적인 승부처에서 또다시 침착하게 볼을 골라내며 출루에 성공한 이정후는 2득점 중 결정적인 순간을 만들었다. 단순히 타율 2할 8푼 1이라는 숫자로는 다 설명할 수 없는 가치. 그는 매 타석에서 계산된 눈, 반응 속도, 배트 스피드를 보여주며 히트 제조기로서의 면모를 유감없이 발휘했다. 무엇보다 인상 깊은 것은 그의 멘탈이다. 납득하기 힘든 스트라이크 판정, 억울한 아웃 선언, 거친 슬라이더 공략 등 거센 도전을 받으면서도 그는 끝까지 흐트러지지 않았다. 어떤 투수가 나오든 어떤 상황이 펼쳐지든 이정후는 자신만의 방식으로 답을 내놓는다. 바로 그 점이 그를 한국 야구의 자존심, KBO의 유산, 그리고 이제는 MLB가 주목하는 천재 타자로 만들고 있는 것이다. 이날 경기에서의 활약은 단순히 개인 성적을 넘어 팀 전체의 활력을 불어넣었다. 비록 장타는 없었지만 그의 존재만으로도 상대 투수들은 집중력을 잃었고 팀 동료들은 분위기를 탔다. 이정후는 단지 안타를 치는 타자가 아니다. 그는 경기를 바꾸는 선수다. 야구는 결국 순간의 선택과 집중에서 승부가 갈린다. 그리고 그 순간을 가장 잘 활용하는 자가 진정한 스타다. 이정후는 그 순간을 만들어내는 천재다. 앞으로도 그의 한 방, 그의 한 걸음, 그의 한 표정에 주목해보자. 다음 영상에서도 이정후의 또 다른 전설이 펼쳐질 것이다. 끝까지 함께하자.